Hello everyone, welcome to my guide on Cultlands. Now, I've said in the last two episodes that I was really excited to play them, but this one's just so good. There are multiple sets of multiple enemies, and you cannot kill them without alerting the other one. For example, you can see Brother Lundgren and Sect Hunter, and they're sitting right next to each other, and there's nothing you can do. Before we're gonna fight them, I want to show you some more group of enemies. So let me move to here. Here we have this beautiful Sect Hunter with a Sect tank. There's a Sect Pyro moving back and forth. You can see him over there. He's coming to us. Okay. And they're standing close enough to these guys that you actually can't use loud weapons to kill these guys. So what we're gonna do, right? Like, how are we gonna beat this? I mean, are we gonna fight all 5 of them at the same time? No, we're gonna kill these 2 guys. Let me just run away with someone before the butcher's like gonna destroy her. Yeah, okay, fine. You know what, let me just hide in here while I'll explain. What we're gonna do is we are going to kill these 2 guys with silent weapons. And yes, I hear you. Like, what? How are we gonna kill people with 24 and 30 HP and 2 armor silently? Well, you just gotta watch, and then I'll tell you. So let me prep everybody. Let me prep everyone, and you'll see. You'll see. Trust me. Whoa. Now, to kill these guys, we're gonna need Hog Rush, but Bormin cannot use Hog Rush yet because he needs to kill 1 more enemy. So what we're gonna do first is we're gonna kill this Sect Butcher that's moving back and forth. So just wait until he comes a little bit closer. I only need 2 guys for this. If you need 3, then you just move Pharaoh a bit closer as well, but I don't need 3, so I'll just use Selma. And then finish him off with... Nice.
Enough!
Don't mess with us!
Okay, so we're gonna attack the Brother Lundgren and the Sect Hunter. Okay, so what you gotta do first up is switch the weapon on Pharaoh so she has something that has at least 2 ammo so she can use her gunslinger ability. So she's gonna take the ancient pistol. Then you're gonna give Selma something completely random because we are not gonna be using her for this fight, and we're gonna be switching her for Magnus. Magnus will take the other sound weapon, which is the crossbow. Actually, yeah, I'll take the crossbow. Okay. And also we would like to give Magnus something that Selma has, which is the Aristo hat, so that he has a higher crit chance when he's shooting from a higher ground, which is where he's gonna be. Now, let me just move Bormin kind of like in the direction next to these 2 guys, because he's gonna be hog rushing Brother Lundgren. And then we're gonna take Magnus, and he's gonna go right behind Pharaoh. Then we're gonna move Bormin here and ambush. Now on Bormin, let me just check that everybody has the right abilities. And yes. So Bormin's gonna begin, and he will get run and gun first. And next up he'll hog rush Brother Lundgren. Brother Lundgren is immune to mind control, so you cannot mind control him. And then he is going to shoot the Hunter. Not Brother Lundgren, the Hunter, okay? Next up, we're gonna use Pharaoh and her gunslinger ability, and she's gonna shoot them both. She has a 100% shot on them both and a 90% chance of a crit chance on them both. And she does a critical hit because of the 90% chance, which is huge. Next up, we're gonna use Magnus, and Magnus has a 100% chance on Brother Lundgren, which is... Oh right, sorry. Magnus is going to use his puppeteer ability to mind control the Sect Hunter. And there's a cool thing about the Sect Hunter at the moment. He has 8 HP and he's on fire, and the fact that he's on fire is great for us because it means on the next turn he'll only have HP of 7, and then you can kill him with a single shot, so that's pretty useful. Now we can do something with him, but the problem is he has a Rambino, which is a loud weapon. So this would alert everybody else, and we cannot afford it. So all you're gonna do with him is you're gonna hide. Like, dig down, do nothing. He got hurt, that's great. Next up, we're gonna, again, hide with him, because we don't want him to do anything. And then we're gonna shoot Brother Lundgren. And now Brother Lundgren is on fire, which is again great for us. Then Pharaoh is gonna reload her weapon and shoot Brother Lundgren as well. And finally Magnus will shoot Brother Lundgren. Ooh. Okay, we got lucky. Sometimes, like I said, I have a problem with the Puppeteer ability that if you kill this other enemy too soon, this Sect Hunter will switch an enemy turn too early and he will be able to attack us, but it worked out in the end. If you're wondering how come Brother Lundgren died, we have a weapon that only does a damage of 7, but he had an HP of 8 because he was on fire, and every time he's on fire, at the start of the enemy turn, it lowers their HP by 1. So just, so that's great. And finally, you can finish off the Sect Hunter with the Pharaoh. Actually, I think Borman has 100% shot, so let's just use him. Reload and use him. Okay, Borman misses. Fine, I guess we'll use Pharaoh then.
Give up now and I'll go easy on ya.
Good thing we have 3 people because apparently he's standing right in front of him and he can hit him. Okay, so this is how you do this. So just remember, you need the Hog Rush ability, the Puppeteer, and the Gunslinger. We need a lot of mutations for this, and that's because, like this, you know, there are 2 enemies, you only have silent weapons which don't do nearly as much damage as the other ones. And be careful about the end of the Puppeteer ability because it behaves a bit weirdly for me. So generally, if I can, I like to keep the other enemy alive. We couldn't do this time because Magnus got the crit shot. If he didn't, then he would have been able to keep them alive. Okay, but this is not the end of this. We have plenty more enemies, right? So we have a couple of enemies here, but we actually cannot fight them just yet because we need to make sure that we regain some of our abilities. So let me prep our people for the next fight, and then I'll tell you what's it's gonna be. It's gonna be in this direction, so moving away from these Sect Tank and Sect Hunter. Okay, next fight we're gonna have is the Medibot. Now for that you're gonna need the Circuit Breaker ability. I'm using the one on Pharaoh. You can take Ducks if you want. And you want to keep Magnus and Barman in the fight so that they can revive their abilities. This is very important. Okay, so make sure that you have them. Don't switch them up for anybody else. Circuit Breaker.
You don't know who you're messing with. Nice. Hurts.
You can always use EMP grenades in case Pharaoh messes up and the Circuit Breaker isn't going to work. Just equip Magnus or Borman with an EMP grenade, and then you can use that to disable the Medibot. Nice. We got a critical hit with Borman, which is fantastic.
I am the beautiful weapon.
Now, after you kill the Medibot, you're gonna move to here, and you're gonna start a conversation once you get here. This one.
What's the robot? Where's the robot? I told you! I turned around and... Where's the robot? You want to get me into trouble, do you? Find the robot!
And then the Shaman's gonna move away and try to find the robot. Now, there are multiple ways to beat the Shaman. One thing you could use is you could use Selma's Twitch Shot and kill him off. Alternatively, you can use Borman's Hog Rush, as we're not gonna need it for the next fight after this. But I think Selma's Twitch Shot is actually a better decision because we are not gonna need Selma for the following fight. So that's why I'll do it with her. I'm gonna switch Selma for Borman, mainly because I'm afraid to switch Magnus too much because, like I said, bugs all the time. And I would like Pharaoh to actually like revive some of her abilities. So yeah. So wait, I forgot. Sorry. So let's switch Pharaoh for. Sorry, let's switch Borman for Selma. Nice. Might sound silly how excited I get when the switch works, but trust me, when the game crashes on you like 7 times in a row, you get excited when it doesn't. Alright, so, do we have the Twitch Shot on Selma? Yes, we did. Good thing. Good thing. We're gonna move her here and use her Twitch Shot. Go girl. Please kill him. Nice. Then Magnus is gonna move to, I don't know, to right behind. To here. And he's just gonna shoot a regular shot. No worries. Shoot him up. Nicely done. And finally, Pharaoh can finish him off with a 90% chance of a crit chance. I just love it. He's just so good at this. Well, not anymore because we got her too close, but doesn't matter. We don't need a crit chance for this. Okay, he's kaput. Now, next up, we're gonna fight these two big boys that we just killed the Shaman. So, yeah. Okay. These are... Wait, did I move to the wrong place? No, this is fine. Well, let me just prep my people and then we're going to talk about how are we supposed to do this. Now for this one you're going to want to use Magnus, Pharaoh and Borman. And on Pharaoh you're going to want to take the Gunslinger ability back. It's not really that important in this one, but I'm going to use it anyways. She can hide there, then Borman's going to hide here, and Magnus will remain here. We're eventually going to switch him up for Borman, I think. Now on Borman, you could get the Stone Skin ability. This is just an insurance policy, but it's better. And now we're going to attack. Oh, and you also want to make sure that Magnus has the Puppeteer as usual. So we're going to attack. First thing you're going to want to do is you're going to use the Gunslinger. Oh, and one more thing. These guys are actually far enough from the other guys so we can actually use loud weapons, which is amazing. So, Pharaoh only has a great chance. The Gunslinger here is not completely necessary. I'm gonna use it just because I like it, but you can do it without it as well. See, we didn't get the tank at all, but we got a really great shot on the Hunter, which is great. Next up, you're going to want to use the Puppeteer on the Hunter. It's important. Okay, and then, when you have the Hunter, what you're going to do is you're going to move straight in front of the tank. Because the enemies, they tend to attack whoever's the closest enemy. So we're just going to stand here and... I don't want to hide because that would give him a better chance of defense. So instead of hiding, I'm going to move him again just so it takes 2 turns. So I'm going to move him 1 step behind, but it's still going to be very close to the tank. Now, if you're worried that the tank would attack the other guys, you can use Stone Skin on Borman and move him closer. We're not going to do that. Actually, we're just going to shoot with the boomstick. But he's out of range, so he has to come closer. So he's going to move here. But the tank is still the closest, so the tank should attack him. And you're gonna attack the tank. Now, had we gotten the crit chance with Pharaoh, we would be able to kill the tank a turn earlier. But we can't do it now, let's go. Okay, the Sect Hunter is almost dead. Now, the great thing about the Sect Hunter now is that he is hog rushed, because the tank did that to him. So, the end of the Puppeteer ability right now is completely irrelevant, because... even if he changes an enemy turn early or whatever, he'll still be hog rushed. So he'll still be knocked out, so you can still easily kill him. Now, you might be wondering, why didn't I just shoot with Borman, right? I mean, I had him, so why didn't I do that? The reason for that is because in case our guys would miss or would not be able to do enough damage, you want to make sure that Borman would potentially use the Stone Skin and move right in front of the tank so the tank would attack him. But we don't need to do this because we can actually just shoot him up with a 100% shot, because I'm going to move a Borman here. But if you're worried about that, if you cannot get 100% shots on the other guys, that's what you have the Stone Skin for, so you can potentially move closer and let him. This is how you kill these guys. Why didn't the turn end? Oh right, the Sect Hunter is still alive, okay. So you're just gonna finish it off by killing the Sect Hunter.
Gotcha.
Right, so we have those other 3 guys, but we also have a Sect Butcher and Sect Pyro here. They were still far enough from those guys that we were fighting that they probably would not be far enough from the 3 guys that you want to fight on the other side of this building. So we're gonna kill these guys first. Again, you want to keep the people whom abilities you have used. So you want to keep Magnus and Pharaoh. Now we only have a Sect Butcher here and a Sect Pyro.
Work for the newest sect. Why are we doing this?
Watch what you say. The ancients are watching us, you plank. So shut up and get back to work.
Now the Sect Butcher is actually moving back and forth, so you don't have to worry about killing him. Just get your guys close enough and use 2 or 3 people depending on whether you have upgraded silent weapons, and kill them off with regular shots. With silent weapons, of course. Because the Sect Hunter would obviously hear it. We can move Pharaoh here and shoot.
Give up now and I'll go easy on ya.
Fantastic.
Great work.
Now we have this Sect Hunter Sect Pyro up here. For him, we're gonna need a Dax's Skull Splitter or Borman's Twitch Shot. I think doesn't really matter which one of them you use. Yeah, let's use Dax's Skull Splitter. So we're just gonna switch back to Magnus, get rid of his crossbow, give him the stinger, go to Dax, and he can use his crossbow. We're gonna hide kind of here, and then Dax is gonna move. You might need to use the Moth Wings on this one, because I don't think we can get a 100% shot considering the fact that he's on high ground. Yep. So I think that if you use Moth Wings, you can get 75. Are you still can? So let's try to move closer. Yeah. So we hit him anyway, but we only got a 50% chance. So if you want to get a better chance, you can, for example, use have also Selma here instead of Borman, for example, and have her Twitch Shot as backup. So, because the best you can get is 75% chance because he's on top. Or actually, you could move Selma close to here and then she could get up to this position. And she would be able to hit him from behind.
I'm the hero, you're the zero.
You did it, kid.
Right, so here we didn't have the best shot. We only had 50% of the Scalper. It worked out, but it was dangerous, right? So what you can do is you can get Selma, and if you move Selma close enough to here, she probably should be able to get on top of this building and shoot the pyro from behind. And with her Twitch Shot ability, you could
Some ghouls up ahead.
easily kill them up.
To the farm. Time for hunter mode.
Okay, so Selma's Twitch Shot would work as well.
Back here.
I didn't need it because the Skull Splitter worked out. Right, so now we have these 3 enemies that I talked about before, right? We have the Sect Tank, Sect Hunter, and the Sect Pyro that's moving back and forth. We're gonna attack the Sect Pyro first, and in order to kill him, we're gonna switch back to... Actually, we could just use Borman's Twitch Shot on him. Oh, and you want to make sure that you hit him when he's going this way towards that tree, not over there, because when he stands out over there, he is actually like just outside range of the Sect Tank and the Sect Hunter. But most of the time, especially if you use knockback weapons, you will alert the other guy. So you want to wait till he moves to this this side of to this place. Yeah, okay, so for this one we're going to use a Borman's Twitch Shot ability, and I have switched Dax for Selma. Okay, so just wait till he comes, I don't know, hide, whoa. Let's move like this. We can attack now. That was a bit rough, but it's fine. So we're gonna start with Borman and use his twitch shot. You gotta have silent weapons here, that's important.
Some more?
And then we're gonna continue with Pharaoh. I would like to give her 100% shot. So let's move her there. And shoot up.
I am the beautiful weapon. Ask your hurt.
And finish it off with... Ooh, are we standing far enough from him? Yes, just about. So be careful about this when you're fighting pyros. You don't want to hit them too close. Again, let me prep my people and then we'll continue. Now, what you need for this one is... You're gonna need Pharaoh, Magnus, and Borman. Now, you're gonna make sure that Pharaoh and Magnus have fairly long-range weapon, or at least good enough. Pharaoh actually only has the boomstick, so she isn't gonna have the best shot on the sect tank, but the reason why I gave her that is because the crit chance on the boomstick is 15, which is huge, and regular is 10, which is also very high. Magnus has the Rambino, which has a fairly good range, even though it doesn't do as much damage. And on Borman you can have whatever, because Borman's gonna be moving closer, and with Borman you're gonna need to have the stone skin ready. Also on Borman, you could get the X-Warrior armor to be able to... Actually, that's what we should do. So let me just make sure. You want to give him the X-Warrior armor. Because in case, for example, if you cannot successfully puppeteer the Sect Hunter, or if you have some trouble with the fact that the Sect Hunter is not attacking... The Sect Thing is not attacking the Sect Hunter but you're gonna want to have the Warrior armor because it will help him. Because the Sect Thing will be unable to hog rush the Borman. Okay, so first thing you're gonna do is you're gonna, just like before, you're gonna puppeteer. No, actually, first thing you're gonna do is you're gonna use Pharaoh's gunslinger ability, because the moment the Sect Hunter is puppeteered, you cannot attack him anymore because he's considered to be your friend. You're gonna switch the weapon to the boomstick. It isn't gonna give us the best shot on the Sect tank, but we're gonna take it anyway because it does a higher damage. But you can do this with Rambinos as well. Okay, so we actually hit the Sect tank on which we had a worse shot, but we didn't hit the Hunter, which is fine. Then we're gonna use Magnus and we're gonna puppeteer the Hunter. And the reason why it's okay that we didn't hit the Hunter is because, as usual, the Hunter is the closest enemy to the tank, so the tank will actually hurt the Hunter. So here again, you don't want to hide because you want this to be an obvious choice, so just move him to the left and then move him to the right so that you can end your turn. And so that he's obviously close to the tank. Now we're gonna move Borman here and we're gonna hide him behind this truck. It's only going to have a 75% shot, but that's okay. Now the good thing is that he's hidden, so because the tank was a much better enemy that he can hit, he shouldn't be fighting, attacking Borman. Yeah, see, he's hog rushing him and then he's going to shoot him. Perfect. Now, the Sect Tank doesn't have much HP left, so we can actually easily kill him with the... Sorry, the Sect Hunter doesn't have much HP left, so we can... The Sect Thing doesn't have much HP left, so you can easily kill him with Borman. Now, you might be saying, well, but wait, that's dangerous, right? We have the problems with the puppeteer ability, the Hunter will switch too soon, we're gonna have problems, right? Well, actually no. And the reason for why not is because the Sect Hunter is hog rushed, so you don't have to worry about him switching too soon, because he is still unconscious. We've killed the tank. Now, most likely during this enemy turn... Yeah, the Sect Hunter is switching. But he is knocked out, so it's so we don't care. We'll just shoot him with Magnus. We got a critical hit, which is very nice. And then we can finish him off with... Now we can finish him off with Magnus. So this is how you clear the Cultlands. The most important thing here is the first two enemies that you're going to kill after you kill the Butcher. You have to kill them silently, and you're going to need the Gunslinger and the Hog Rush ability of Borman and the Puppeteer. So all three of those, you need to use them at once. Also, you have to remember that when you first shoot with Borman, you have to shoot the Hunter and not the Brother Lundgren, because if you hit the Brother Lundgren, you would kill him a bit too soon, and then the Hunter would switch to being your enemy, and there could be problems. Sometimes it works, depending on which one of your enemies is on fire and whether you get critical hits or not, but it can also get you in trouble. Then you want to kill off the lonely Medbots, just so some of the lonely enemies, so you can revive your abilities. Then you're going to kill the group on the opposite sides, one that had the Shaman who walked away to look for the robot, and you're going to use there the Puppeteer ability and Pharaoh's Gunslinger, and this is how you kill all the other groups with loud weapons. Because all the tanks are immune to Hog Rush, so that's useless, and the Stone Skin on Borman is essentially backup, but it's not necessary because the enemies tend to attack their enemy who's the closest, which usually is the one that you puppeteered. So you can like kill two birds with one stone. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this guide. If you did, write down in the comments, and please don't forget to subscribe, it means a lot to me, and I'll see you in the next area. Bye bye!